Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's live. And for those of you who are watching the replay, a hearty welcome to you. It's always a pleasure to come to you guys, to share all the insights, to share all the revelation when we talk about workplace issues, personal issues, our career issues, our business issues. It's always a pleasure for me. Last week we couldn't do our live because it was a little inconvenience for me where I was at the time. I thought I would have reached back home earlier than the time planned, but it didn't work out that way. So we are going to do the exact topic that we planned for last week, which is favoritism, nepotism, and cronyism. Yeah, it was just favoritism versus nepotism, but when I shared it on LinkedIn, one of my colleagues, she said, why not include cronyism? And I looked it up and I said, yes, I'm going to put all together. And it all really and truly worked out well. So I am going to wait for a few people to come on board so that we can start our live. And if we have no one coming on board, we are still going to start our live. All right, so we're going to give people a few more minutes to come on our live. So just some updates. Tomorrow night, we are doing our business plan. We're doing a second round of our business plan. And then the following week, we are going to be doing conflict management. So if you're interested, that is $150. If you're interested, you can WhatsApp us at 320-5961, or you can send us an email at cnjtraining@gmail.com, and we will respond to you accordingly. All right, so I will do some more updates at the end of the program so that I can keep you guys updated to what is happening. I don't know if any of you are experiencing this weather. Hi Sunita, happy belated birthday. Yes, but it is the weather, the place is dark. There's a lot of thunder, roll. Oh yeah, so when thunder is rolling, somewhere it's raining a lot. Yeah? So I hope you guys are safe wherever you are. Yeah, I hope you guys are safe. Hi Peter, nice to see you. No propaganda on this live, please. Oh my God, I miss you guys. NHSL. Hi, Pastor Margaret. Thanks for joining us today. Yeah? So we are going to get ready to start. Normally I wait for about 5 people to come on board. So, but it's a kind of long topic, so people will join in as they come. All right, so we are looking at, and we have a new, hi Apostle, thanks for joining. We have a new government and a new cabinet installed. Hi Apostle. And so we have to really and truly pray for our government and also pray for the opposition. So it's a new season. We have a new journey for the next 5 years. So our support with the government now is critical and it's very important. So we want to look at the topic, what is favoritism in the workplace? And it happens also in the home. So we want to touch on those different areas. Good? So favoritism in the workplace is exactly what it sounds like. Favoring someone, not because he or she, hi Niger, is doing a great job, but for a reason outside of the job performance. For instance, a manager consistently offers an employee the best and most highly regarded projects, even though that employee does not perform well enough to deserve them. And we have a lot of that happening. People are getting promoted because they are not performing, and the manager has a good relationship with that employee. Hi Joanne. So that employee gets the okay, the go ahead to get that position. Or perhaps an employee is offered a promotion over someone else who has been at the company longer and has more experience. Now, I want to touch on that area. When people are at an organization and they have been there for a while and they have more experience, they may not be qualified or certified for that position. But give that employee an opportunity to be interviewed, and also give that employee an opportunity to function. If that person is not chosen, give that person an opportunity to function closely with the other person that is chosen. And those things are so very important because we don't look at those things. Were you encouraging that said employee to go and further their education? We don't do things. We favor other employees. And hear what we say. Well, I can force their hand if they want to sit down there. But what about that person who just came in, who does not know the work? The same person that you bypass has to teach that new person, even though they qualified. So they go hand in hand. And we keep doing it. And it happens often when a manager and an employee has developed a friendship. I've had this experience beyond the workplace. The serious thing here. Examples of favoritism in the workplace are when two co-workers work together previously and have a shared history, or maybe they have bonded over common outside interests like sports or music. The effects of favoritism in the workplace can become even worse when these friendships turn into potential harassment. I have seen it. Hi, Nicole. I have seen it happen. I have lived through it. You're seeing people have good relationships. The relationship develop outside of the workplace. And everything, that person is chosen. If they have a course in the organization, that person is favored. I remember quite clearly that at one point, our department, we are not, it was stated, it was a disclaimer, we will not be sent to do any type of courses. But the other departments were favored. It was a blow. It was a real blow to us. So we understand what it is. And I understand when you're treated that way, because we have to manage. And if we don't manage the favoritism that we show now, there are some people in the workplace. Hi, Margaret. There's some people in the workplace, and even your own children. There's some children, they just draw to you anything mommy wants, they get it done and whatever. But there must be a balance when you're dealing with all your children. There must be a balance. They must not see that you're showing favoritism to one against the other. There must be a straight line. But sometimes one of my clients, we were having a conversation about that. She has two older children, and then she has two little ones. There's a big gap. So the older ones feel, hi Nika, hi Colleen, that the younger ones are being favored. So I said to them, you need to explain to them that it's not that they're being treated differently. It's just that the younger ones need a little more attention. But here how we go wrong as parents. We don't have these conversations. Hi, Psyche. We don't have these conversations with our children. And we allow these seeds of favoritism to be planted. And the little ones need more attention. So I suggested, spend time with the older ones. Say, get a babysitter, drop them by their aunt or their uncle, and say, listen, the older ones, we are going out. It's mommy and daddy time with you guys. So that now would eliminate any source of favoritism happening in the home. But as managers, we need to watch that. And another form of favoritism is nepotism. That's serious. This thing called nepotism, is so critical to the workplace. And when this happens, it usually takes the same effect as favoritism, because it leads to a number of negative results, and known as discrimination in the workplace. Good? And we have had, we have had a whole issue. Hi, Indra. We've had a whole history of discrimination and racist statement, right, with our recent elections. And, one party, people feel one party is being favored against the other, but who were the electorates? Who had the power? Who were the people that voted the party? Good? So you see the difference. Good? So you had that power in your hand and you used it. When that happens, we have to take our losses. We have to take our losses. The people of the government, they are qualified and they are quite ready because they were there before to run the country. And if it was vice versa, the same, right? Because you can't have people running a country, a society, where they are not qualified and they have the experience. Because when you watch the history of prime ministers, they have the experience. They didn't just start yesterday. And we have to give people some priority when they're in an organization and they have the experience. Now, when you favor people and when there's nepotism in the organization, you know what happens? You have low morale. When clients ask me to do surveys, before we do the survey, I gotta tell them, because the people don't feel appreciated. If every time we have performance appraisal, and that is what caused performance appraisal to be flawed. So you have performance appraisal, it's looking good on record, but you already have in mind those people that you're going to choose. So there's low morale. And guess what? Then there's a form of resentment with the manager and the employees, with management and the employees, because they resent them. And when you sit down in the lunchroom or wherever you go, they're having a company line. That is all they talk about, because they feel very resentful to the way in which management is treating them. So why are we pretending when we know very well these are the people that we are looking at? So we have our private boardroom meetings, and these are the people we look at, forget the rest of them. That could never be right. That system will never work. And guess what? Your organization is going to suffer. And then you're going to have, so you're creating an environment of disengagement. So while employees would be engaged, you have disengaged them. So you have like potential now employees, they are overlooked. They are overlooked. And these are the same people. So your retention process begins to suffer. Yeah? Your retention process begins to suffer. So people now are leaving. So there's an overturn now. Yeah? There's an overturn now of people being in the workplace. Right? So your retention now becomes very high because you cannot retain people because of the system of nepotism and favoritism in the workplace. People's growth feels stunted. And do you find that you hear people say, "Oh, me, this is all I doing. When I finish work here, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, I finish and my love dies it. I on the computer. Because it doesn't matter what I do, they ain't choosing me. So I good." And they throw up their hands. Who has created that? Management has created that. And I'm saying this, and I really hope this video goes out to a lot of MDs and CEOs, and they would understand, and employers, what it is we really and truly do. And those are some of the things that we have to manage. And there are also legal implications. There are also legal implications when we think of favoritism and nepotism. Because the practice of favoritism leads to legal action. If an employee feels that he or she was discriminated against or was forced to work in a hostile environment, a manager's favoritism could end up costing your company a lot of money in attorney fees. And we have seen that. We have had performance appraisal come to HR office where we know one of the people who was chosen to get a higher grade salary over another person was quite unfair because the other person who got the lower grade salary had more experience, had more qualifications, was more suitable for the job. And those are some of the things that you need to look at when you're thinking about promotion and position. Suitability. If you don't look at suitability, and if you don't look at the whole process, you're going to end up favoring others. You're going to end up in the arm of nepotism. Good? So you want to stay away. You want to stay away from that. Now, cronyism is another area, when you talk about favoritism and nepotism, right? Like cronyism, like nepotism, except the favor is not towards external friends and relatives. Instead, it's the internal practice of offering favor, such as a position that one is unqualified for, in exchange for ongoing blind loyalty. I want to talk about that. And it's a problem in organization of all types of sizes. You see that blind loyalty? You know what that means? They want a set of yes men. They want a set of yes men. So guess what? I would promote you, but hear what? You have to have my back right through. Whether I'm right or whether I'm wrong, you have to be the yes man. So you have a board full of yes men and yes women. Good? So because you know what? I put you there and I could take you down. So you see how critical, and these things are happening in our organization. And when a leader makes it a practice to hire and promote people who generally lack the skill, experience, or qualifications for a job with the expectation of blind loyalty, they engage in cronyism. Middle management begin to mirror cronyism when these colleagues grant each other positions, favors, and benefits, ensuring decisions are made based on an internal web of exchange favors and allegiances rather than what makes sense for the organization. And it's damaging because employees are seeing and they know exactly what is happening. And guess what? You split the organization, so you have opposing teams. You have like a government in place, and then you have an opposition. It happening in organizations, and you all know that. So we for them, and we for them, right? We not for them, and who them? And this is how you refer to the governing management. Who them? We don't deal with them. You have created it, opposing teams, and because you have engaged in the art of cronyism, and you have given high levels of trust, interaction, support, and rewards for their unwavering loyalty. You sit down in a boardroom, you know the CEO, the managing director, they have made decision that was biased. But guess what? He put you there. You get your increased salary. You get all your benefits. You're getting your bonus. New vehicle. Everything. And guess what? You have to take it. You have to become a yes man, because he gonna rip you apart. That's when you trust in the armor, friends. Yeah? You see, Pastor Margaret said she was told that if she be promoted, if she become a yes woman, turn it down. Don't compromise your integrity for that, because these same people use their power. Yeah? And then when everything is broke and everything is exposed now, you're nail jumping up in steel band. Right? And then what happens with cronyism? There's a lack of problem solving. Because it's we team and all your teams. So it have the opposing team and it have the team. So let them, in other words, let them come up with all the solutions now. We're not going there. We're not going there. No. That's how they feel. They want to support the boss. They want to do that. Then we have no problem with that. So there's a lack of problem solving, and then the organization becomes very stunted. There's no creativity. There's no growth. There's only one section of the organization that seems to flourish. So you see what is happening. And we need to be careful about that. So then we have bureaucracy. I always pronounce that wrong, right? So we have that happen. That is when the merit-based out-group staff must work twice as hard against those trying to gain favor through the easier act of cronyism. The result is a forced bureaucracy based on politicking and infighting. Instead of a consistency and consideration based on facts, this type of bureaucratic culture is damaging to relationships and comes to a far more demanding workload, and often with unfortunate futile results. Right? So you have a bureaucratic process going on there. So all you want, well, work hard now, I ain't saying, so you always have to keep proving yourself. And this time you're capable, you know. Your performance appraisers say you're excellent at what you do, They talk about the quality of work, But because you're a yes woman or a yes man for the boss, pressure for you. Pressure for you. Listen to me, I walk down that road and I know what it feels like. And you feel very oppressed. And it is not a nice feeling. And I'm urging employers, GMs, CEOs, managing directors, stop it. You're damaging your organization. And you know what you're going to have? You're going to have an organization full of poor performers. You see, in this current situation with COVID-19, we cannot afford to have that. We cannot afford to have that happening. Because right now, we have people working at home. So you need your efficiencies to be up. You cannot afford to have your efficiencies down. Because it means that you're going to be spending more money. Good? So you have to be less biased when it comes to your manpower and the way you treat and deal with your employees. Flawed decision making. Your decision making is flawed. Your decision making is flawed. The way in which you plan to do it, it is flawed. And people see that it is flawed. Right? So when decisions are made based on the balance between favors and loyalty, rather than merit and data, wrong decisions are made. The quality of decision making is reduced when senior managers are always right, even where they are wrong, and usually take it as an affront when contradicted by their juniors. They always right. You can't tell them nothing. You imagine you can't even go to your manager and say, I know you all made a decision and I understand, but, I see there's some kinks here and maybe there's some things we can work out. And if you put Jane here, Jane really don't have that skill set for here. But, if you put Mary here, she's more suitable and, and they say, well, no. When I asked Jane to come out, Jane just come out. Mary just give me some static. And Mary giving you static because you're always favoring Jane. Jane ain't even qualified for the position. Jane making a set of errors that Mary always had to be fixing. Flawed decision making. And poor Mary, pressure for Mary. Because she now wants her job. Good. She is not a yes woman. But she's doing her job because she's an excellent worker. Good. The organization suffering, And I always say to managing directors and CEOs, right? You have been placed there. You have been hired for an organization. It is not your company. Why are you doing that? Why are you carrying all your bias and all your discrimination to the organization? And you're causing the environment to be stagnant. And this is what happened, There's no creativity. There's no flow. People feel very uncomfortable and people feel very oppressed. And the worst thing is to work in a very oppressive environment. I know about that. And what you create in the minds of employees, you create confusion. They don't know which side, what is really going on. And when you do surveys and you see the results of some of the responses of staff, here where you say they're ungrateful. No matter what you do, they always have a issue. No. You have created that. You are favored, yes. You have created that. Because you created a culture of yes men and yes women. And the others, you have left them to themselves. So then you have now a reactive leadership. So when now the union comes and they're marching outside and they put a set of thing on the placard about you and they begin to sing songs. Good? They begin to sing songs and they say, yeah, Caro this and Caro that. And yeah? And you check in, you call a meeting now. You call a management meeting and what they want. What can we do? And then all of a sudden now you have certain, you decide to do an increase in salaries. There's promotion within and you encourage people to come on board and yes, become reactive. You know why? There's a crisis and it is affecting you as the leader. And we have that happen because of favoritism, nepotism, and cronyism. And this is what we do. And we reactive because we don't want to look bad, because you're having a board meeting and everybody outside with placard and the different unions, that ain't looking good, because it's a reflection on who you are. And a lot of times the board don't know what is happening internally with the operations. Good? Because the boards are normally not operational. So they don't know what's happening internally. You're not saying anything because you're running your own show. Yeah? And then now you have loss of good talent. You have talented people now that are going elsewhere to work. And not that they don't like the organization, they love the organization. But they're not leaving the organization, they're leaving you, the manager. And that is what is said. People don't leave organization, they leave managers because of the environment you have created. And people don't feel that they could give their 100 anymore. So you started at 100 and you dropped to 30. And for me, I am a person, I prefer look somewhere else, get a next job, than to be there complaining and griping, because guess what? They don't plan to change. Good? Because the environment is set like that. And then you have lowered the employee morale, and you have created a loss of company loyalty. So years ago, you used to be loyal to the organization because the organization before was not like that. And then you have a change in management, and then you find the morale going down. Good? And then there's a lack of accountability. So watch now, everybody doing their own thing. Who ordering this for their friend? Who's sending through this, and it have nothing to do with the organization. Good? There's a lack of accountability because the person who you have put there become yes. And when the CEO, the GM, or whoever call and they give an instruction, you better follow it because he put you there. Good? There's a lack of accountability. There must be transparency, and this is what we don't understand. And we do it in our homes. We do it with our children. We allow some to get away with murder, and then we allow some they have to walk the straight line. Hi, Stacy. And these things are so critical when we talk about favoritism, nepotism, and cronyism. There's a lack of accountability. Right? Restricted growth. Restricted growth. So there's a stress and conformity. And centralized control prevents an organization from learning by limiting initiative and innovation. Let me talk about that thing. You limit. So you have some employees who are very creative and innovative, but you restrict them because that's how all you're behaving. You restrict them. Some of you, before I continue, just press share and you can share this broadcast. We restrict them. We restrict people because we put them in a mold. I don't want to hear what you have to say. And you're going to the boss. And the worst thing is to go to the boss. And the boss says in meeting, the boss says in staff meeting, no, please free. I have an open door policy. Come to me. And you go and you feel, oh, yes. And he don't know already. He not listening to you. Here he lists up people that he already favor. I remember quite clearly. We were doing some interviews. And we were given a list. A list of people that are going to be chosen. And guess what? They passed the list to me. Now, the positions that we were looking at were very serious positions. So you couldn't just select any and everybody because this person's father, this person on the board and is their grandson or whatever. And I said it very nicely to my CEO. I said, you will have to pass that list to the person that's in charge of the interview process. I'm not so big. I don't carry that weight. So you need to pass it on. And guess what? When it came to the boardroom where we were doing our interviews and stuff, that list remained under. It remained under the folder because he himself didn't take it on. Imagine that. He didn't take it on. He didn't take it on. Good? So I must play. And a lot of times we do that, We play foolish. Because you tell yourself, your boss or you do something and you feel you end up in good company because, he asks for a favor. And no, do not compromise your integrity. And I did it very nicely. I will not be caught up in doing that. So he came across and he passed his list wherever he saw that it was needed to be passed, not me. And these are some of the things we don't do, right? We don't say and we don't stand up. Why should I be a part of that? Why should I be a part of favoritism, nepotism, and cronyism? And we are stagnating our organization, we are stagnating our homes, and we are causing our employees to be resentful, and we are causing them to be oppressed, and we are causing them to be very unhappy. And this is something when I experienced that, it was, listen to me, it was a horrible, horrible place to be in. It was a horrible place to be in. But we were able, the opposition team, good, we were able to work together and comfort each other. It was a very hard time because we was discriminated against. It was a lot of things, and we need to stop. We need to stop. We need to have more conversations concerning that. The way we favor people. The recruitment process must be transparent. It must be transparent. People have worked hard, they have studied, they are qualified, they have the experience, they are suitable for the position, and we need to give them it. Have a very transparent process. You advertise internally, they have done well in their performance review. Do not make a decision before. Have the recruitment process, let them come. Everybody gets an opportunity, whoever wants to apply for the position, and give people an opportunity to come and sit down and go through the process with them. And it is very, it brings that, you see that employee morale? Listen to me, I have seen it. It is very heartbroken. It is something that really and truly is a pet peeve of mine. And it's something that we really need to look at. So I hope, ladies and gentlemen, this was very encouraging to you guys. I hope you have learned a little more about favoritism, nepotism, and cronyism. It is happening in our workplace. It is happening in our homes. It is happening in different areas of leadership. And we need to watch it. Sometimes you have 3 girl children and 1 boy child. And they say, this is mommy eyeball. What is that about? About mommy eyeball. All of them is your eyeball. We say these things. And they go into the child. And the child don't know he favored. And guess what? He getting away. And the siblings saying, mommy, ain't see what he doing. Leave him. He's the little one. No, we need to stop. If you need to get a few slaps, then give him a few slaps at the time. And you need to let him get it in front of them so they understand and know that. And have these conversations. Have these conversations with your children. And if a child is clamoring and saying you favor her or you favor him over the other, something is wrong. Check the way you are relating to your children. Check the way you are relating. Something is wrong. You might say to yourself, no, but mommy and daddy, that's not how they operate. They give, yes, but everybody have different lens and they see things differently. And sometimes as parents, if we don't know better, the way we respond to our different children and the way we respond in the household, because sometimes you're tired and you're busy. If you had a child like me who everything is why, I don't understand why, and it's like, be quiet. It causes that, and children become very insecure and their self-esteem it drops, and then they go to the workplace now, and guess what? They get a boss who favoring and showing nepotism. Listen to me, see where it starts? I urge you parents, if you didn't know, you know today. So please stop. Yeah? Please stop. Give everybody a fair chance in life, because we all born with purpose. All right. Thank you so much for joining us today. We have our training session tomorrow. We have the business plan. For those of you who haven't done it, you have an opportunity to do it. It's $150 next week. We have conflict management. And so you have a great opportunity to enroll for that also, $150. You're welcome, Carleen, $150. I designed a document where you can really and truly see where you fall under conflict management. And some people fall under accommodation. A lot of time we accommodate people that tiring. We only accommodating people. So this session on conflict management is going to be critical for a lot of you. So I would urge you to really and truly, enroll in this session next week Friday at 7:30, conflict management. And so we are going to have that, because and then there's the collaboration, and then there's the avoid, then there's the avoider. That is next week Friday, Stacy, next week Friday. And then there's the avoidance, because we want to avoid. I want to deal with that. All right now, babe. You ain't want to deal with that. No, we have to confront stuff. And it was so interesting when I did it with my clients. They were like, wait, and exactly who they are, that's exactly where it fell. So I'm excited to do that session. So I would encourage you, I would advertise more about it. I sent out the list for the month, but I will be sending out some more stuff to encourage you guys to really come on board for the conflict management. It is something for everybody. You don't have to be a manager. No, it is something for everybody, because we need, thank you, Carleen, because we need to understand where we are in terms of conflict. Because if we have conflict going on inside, how are we dealing with conflict on the outside? All right? So thank you guys for joining us. I will encourage you to share our program today. And please come on board next week. We'll have some exciting topics for you guys. Thanks for coming on board today. Have a great rest of the day and a wonderful weekend. Remember, wear your mask, sanitize. When you go to the grocery, sanitize your grocery when you come home. All right? And another thing, when you go outside, don't wear those open-toe shoes like what I did. Keep your feet covered, because the little drizzle not helping us. All right? So keep safe. All right? Yes, I will, Liana. Okay, good. Bye-bye.